inflatable structure. We're going to use a couple of different new components. One of which is going to be sorting points along the curve. We are using anchor points, but this time we're going to add the target points to the anchor. So the anchor points is having a targets to move from one side to another side. And then finally we use a pressure to create a pressure, and then inflame the surface itself, and then eventually breaking down the pieces into smaller pieces to create the secondary like a form within the structure. So let's get back to our grasshopper, and then here we are going to first define our surface. So in order to define our surface, we're just using the same thing that we did. We're going to use the mesh plane, and we're going to leave it as a default. We're not changing it. Okay. Now, what I'm looking for now is that if you look at the, let's bring the Weaver bird edge. I'm trying to define the anchor points, and then in addition to the anchor points, I want to define the area that after this whole thing's inflated, it's going to be these anchor points going to that curve. Obviously, when you have like a solid structure like this, all these points going to go into like some form of a curve in the middle. So let's try to use first using the edges. So we just get the edges from the Weaver bird edge, or the edges. Let's get the edges first, and then actually this one is not going to helping us. Looking at mesh edge, this one is better. Okay, so we're going to use mesh edge, and the reason for that is that it's kind of break it down into the exterior interior edges that we're looking for. And then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to join first these curves that I have. So you see that I have the exterior curve all joined together. So once I have that, I just kind of explode them again. And now I got all the points alongside of that curve that you see. And there is a reason for that, so bear with me. Now, let's look at the number of points. So let's look at the point preview. Or point list. And I'm going to connect these points here. This is the vector. I'm going to connect in there. Just going to give the value of 2 so I can see it. Maybe 1 is better, right? So if you look at it, the number of points, it has started from here, and it's go all the way to the other side. Now, oh, sorry, I started here. And if you look at it, zoom in here, you see that there is 2 points there that are colliding. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to the 40 that is here. But the thing is that number 0 and number 40 are the same points. So we're going to remove that points first. So I'm going over here. I'm going to use the call item. And then from that, the list will be my list here. And then the item that I'm going to remove is going to be the item number 0. It's the first item that is same as the other one. Now, if I connect that here to the points, you see that it started from 0 and it goes all the way to 39. So I use the call item or call index to remove that specific points. Now, what I'm going to do is that, because eventually I know that these anchor points are going to go alongside a circle in the middle of this, I'm going to create a circle. The center is going to be the same center because the plane is around that center, created on that center. And for the radius, I'm going to use radius of 10. Right? So if you look at it right now, the circle is kind of inside of that rectangle. Now, Now I want to basically organize these points. Because if you think about the circle is also a curve. It starts from one place and it goes all the way to the other place, right? I want the order of these points to be the same order of the curve points, because we eventually gonna divide the curve as well. So I'm gonna use sort along curve. That's the component that we are going to use. All right. And the curve is the circle that I have, and the points is this point that I have here. Okay. Now if I go back and connect them, you see that the number change. Now the number 1 is the start somewhere in the middle, which is like the starting point for the curve, and it goes all the way to the other side. So I use the circle in order to reorganize the order, or basically sort the points alongside that curve. Good. Now, we also need to divide this curve as well. There's the same number of the points that I have. So I'm going to use divide, so divide curve, and I'm going to use a circle. List length is going to give us the number of the points from the first list, and creating the same division on the curve as well. Now, let's try to use the line. We don't need that. I just want to show this for showcasing how it works. So if you look at the lines that I created, now all the points on the outside rectangle will be moved to the new target points as an anchor compared to what we have before, right? So now everything is just having the right position. So this is going to be my anchors. So I'm going to use the anchor curve, which the points on the outside periphery goes to the anchor points, and the point from the divide, which is the points alongside the curve, will be the target points. Okay. The rest will be very similar to what we have before. We need first to define the mesh. So we are going to use edge length from Kangaroo. And connecting our mesh to that. For the length factor, I'm going to use the length factor of 0.1. So that's basically defining the surface itself. Now, we need pressure, something that pushes everything outward. And we are using the pressure force to then basically to the forces that is normal to the area that is normal of the area that the force is applied. The input will be the same, the mesh. And for the strength, I'm going to use 0.26. The last thing we want to see what is going to be the outcome. So using show, connecting the mesh to the show as well. So we have our goals set up. Let's use the int wine. The input for the first one will be show, and for the second, all the other goals. Bring the solver. We need a bottom. for reset, and then we need the Boolean toggle. And we're connecting all the goals here. And if I turn off everything that I have from here, see that now the surface is kind of created back to the main area that we're looking for.